The pounding in her head came before the light. Zoraya blinked against the dim glow of the VIP suite, her lashes heavy with sleep, her body sore in places she couldn't explain. The scent hit her next, cigarettes, whiskey, and something dangerously male. Her cheek pressed against warmth, firm and alive. Slowly, carefully, she lifted her head. That was when she froze. Her curvy frame was sprawled across the chest of a man whose tattoos looked like stories written in black ink over golden skin. His arm was still lazily draped around her waist, his grip as though even in sleep he refused to let go. She gasped, clutching the thin sheet to her chest. "What the hell?" she whispered. She sat up too fast, her curls bouncing wildly, her heart thundering. And there he was, the infamous man every whisper in the club spoke about. Jinsu, 29, a mafia prince in Seoul's underworld. Ruthless, cold-blooded, always wearing loose singlets that showed off his tattoos, expensive shorts, and sneakers as though daring anyone to underestimate him. Now he was here in the same bed with her. "Good morning, sunshine." His voice was gravelly, thick with sleep, yet laced with mockery. He cracked one eye open, lips curving into the kind of smirk that made women weak and men afraid. Zoraya's throat went dry. Her mind scrambled through the night before. The flashing lights of the club, the beat of the music, her laughter that masked pain. Too many glasses of soju, dancing on tables while men cheered. Then his face appeared in fragments. The way he leaned against the bar with tattoos glistening under neon lights, his gaze burning into her as if she was the only one in the room. And then blackout. She clutched the sheet tighter. "Did we? Oh my God." Jinsu chuckled low, running a hand through his messy black hair. "If you have to ask, sweetheart, then you were drunker than I thought." Her eyes widened. "Wait, so we really?" "Relax." He stretched like a lion, muscles flexing under ink. "Nothing happened. Not unless you count you falling asleep on my chest while crying about how men are trash." Zoraya wanted the ground to swallow her whole. She buried her face in her hands. "Oh Lord, kill me now." He sat up beside her, his cologne invading her senses. "Don't worry, I've heard worse. But I must say, you snore louder than my bodyguards." Her head snapped toward him, scandalized. "I do not snore." "Oh, you do. And you drooled right here." He tapped his chest with an exaggerated look of disgust. "I should charge you laundry fees." Despite her humiliation, Zoraya let out a shaky laugh. She hated how effortlessly funny he was. She hated more how her body reacted to his presence. Snatching her bag from the floor, she stood up, wobbling on her heels. "This never happened. You and me? Never. Got it. Got it." His smirk widened. "Except you're walking out wearing my shirt." She glanced down and nearly screamed. She was drowning in his oversized black singlet, her glittery skirt thrown carelessly on the couch. She ripped it off, yanked her skirt back on, and stormed toward the door. "Don't come back to my club again," she hissed. "Oh, sweetheart." His voice followed her like smoke, smooth and teasing. "You'll see me again, sooner than you think." Her pulse hammered as she slammed the door behind her. Outside, the cool air of Seoul night kissed her skin, but it couldn't erase the fire burning inside. Zoraya, the curvaceous Trinidadian hostess whom men desired but never loved, had just woken up in the arms of the city's most dangerous man. She told herself it was a mistake. Just one night, just bad luck. But deep down, in the pit of her stomach, she knew Jinsu's words were a promise. Their story had only just begun. Jinsu wasn't a man easily distracted. Deals worth millions could collapse, enemies could breathe down his neck, and he would still be calm, sharp, untouchable. But for the first time in years, his mind refused to stay still. Zoraya, that woman, that loud, curvy, glittery force of chaos who snored on his chest like she owned it. He told himself it was just her beauty. Men had always chased her curves. But it wasn't that. It was her aura. The way she had stormed out of his suite like she wasn't afraid of him. Like he wasn't Seoul's most ruthless mafia prince. No woman ever dismissed him like that. And he hated how much he wanted her to do it again. Zoraya, meanwhile, was back in her world of neon lights and blaring music. She wore a shimmering gold mini dress that hugged her curves and tall heels that clicked across the club's floor. Men drooled, women envied, but her laughter was practiced. Behind every smile was a storm of loneliness. Her coworker nudged her at the bar. "Girl, you okay? You look like you saw a ghost." Zariah sipped her drink and muttered, "Worse. I woke up on a Mafia's chest." The coworker's eyes widened. "What? Don't ask." She waved her off. "I'm erasing it from memory." But as she said it, her eyes flicked toward the entrance and froze. There he was. Jinsu walked into the club like he owned it, tattoos glowing under the strobe lights, wearing a sleeveless white vest and ripped shorts. His silver chain glinted, his eyes sharp, scanning until they landed on her. Zariah's stomach flipped. "Oh, hell no," she whispered. He smirked, like he'd heard her. Minutes later, he was at her side, leaning casually on the bar, ignoring every other woman batting their lashes at him. "Sunshine," he drawled. "You run away fast, but not fast enough." She glared, clutching her tray. "Didn't I tell you never to come back here? And didn't I tell you," he leaned closer, his cologne suffocating, "that you'd see me again sooner than you think?" "Ugh." She rolled her eyes dramatically. "You're not even my type." He raised a brow. "Your type? Let me guess. Broke college boys who promise you the world and leave after a week." Her jaw tightened. That was too close to the truth. "You don't know me," she snapped. "Oh, I know enough." His gaze softened for a second, quick, but real. "You're lonely. You drink too much. And you laugh too loud so nobody sees the cracks." Her heart skipped. She masked it with sarcasm. "Wow, congratulations, Detective Jinsu. Do you want a medal or a cookie?" He smirked. "Cookie. Chocolate chip." She stared at him, then burst out laughing despite herself. "You're ridiculous. Yet you're still talking to me." From that night, Jinsu kept showing up. Every evening, he'd slide into the club, sometimes alone, sometimes with his men, always watching her. He tipped her obscenely, teased her until she was red with frustration, and left only after making sure no drunk customer touched her. "Why are you stalking me?" she demanded one night, hands on her hips, her dress glittering under the disco ball. He leaned back in the VIP booth, swirling whiskey. "Stalking? No. Protecting my investment." "What investment?" "You." Her mouth fell open. "Excuse me? You're too pretty to waste away serving drinks to sweaty businessmen. You belong somewhere better." She snorted. "And let me guess, that better place is next to you?" He grinned wolfishly. "Smart girl." She scoffed and turned on her heel, but her heart was hammering. Nobody had ever looked at her the way he did. Like she wasn't just a body, but a puzzle he wanted to solve. Later that night, when she went backstage to rest her feet, she found a box waiting for her. Inside was a pair of designer heels, glittering under the lights. A note was tucked inside. "For Sunshine, don't run too far. Jay." She bit her lip, torn between annoyance and the strange warmth in her chest. "Lord help me," she whispered, shaking her head. This man is trouble. But deep down, she already knew. Trouble had never looked this tempting. And while Zariah tried to push him away with her sass and banter, Jinsu was falling into something he never believed in. Obsession. The kind that no money, no drugs, and no power could cure. And he wasn't about to let her go. The club lights flickered, but Zariah's mood was darker than any shadow. She'd spent weeks dodging Jinsu like a game of cat and mouse. Every night, he was there. Tattoos glowing, whiskey glass in hand, eyes locked on her. She hated how it thrilled her. She hated even more how her coworkers whispered, "Girl, the Mafia prince is obsessed with you. Careful, Zariah. He doesn't play nice. Maybe he'll marry you and you'll leave us behind." She laughed it off, but inside, it rattled her. Men always wanted her body. Nobody ever wanted her. She wouldn't fall into another trap, not even his. But one Thursday night, the trap fell anyway. She had just finished delivering drinks to a bachelor party when the manager summoned her to the back office. His face was pinched, his hands fidgeting. "Zariah, I'm sorry." Her stomach dropped. "Sorry for what? You're done here." She blinked. "What do you mean I'm done? I'm your top hostess. Customers literally request me. The manager avoided her gaze. Orders from above. Don't make this harder. Above? Who above you? Silence. Her mind snapped to one name. One man. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. She stormed out of the office, heels clacking like gunfire. And sure enough, there he was. Jin-soo, lounging in the VIP booth like a king on his throne. Surrounded by bodyguards but staring only at her. You! She hissed, marching toward him. What did you do? He raised his brows innocently. Me? I'm just here enjoying the music. Cut the crap. You got me fired, didn't you? The corner of his lips curved. Maybe. Her voice rose. Do you have any idea how hard I work? This job pays my bills. Who gave you the right? I gave myself the right. He leaned forward, voice sharp as a blade. Because watching you smile at drunk men every night was driving me insane. Zariah's jaw dropped. Insane? You're insane. You can't just ruin people's lives because your fragile little ego is jealous. He chuckled. Fragile? Sunshine, if my ego was fragile, half the city would be ashes by now. Then maybe it should be. She shot back, her Caribbean accent thickening with her anger. The room went quiet. His men shifted uncomfortably, and used to anyone raising their voice at their boss. But Jin-soo looked alive, like her fire was oxygen he'd been starved of. You're beautiful when you're angry, he said softly. She threw her hands in the air. Oh my God, you're impossible, and you're unemployed. He smirked. Which means you finally have time to listen to my offer. Her eyes narrowed. Offer? Work for me. Zariah laughed bitterly. What, as your personal waitress? No thanks. No, his gaze burned into hers. As the only woman I trust at my side. Her heart thudded. She wanted to scream, to slap him, to walk out. But instead, she found herself asking, why me? For once, his smirk faded. He leaned back, exhaling. Because everyone else wants my money, my power, or my downfall. You don't give a damn who I am. You tell me off, laugh at me, make me feel. He trailed off, searching. Human. Zariah's throat tightened. She hated how her chest softened. She hated that he was peeling away her defenses without permission. So she did what she did best. She masked it with sass. Well, congratulations. You've officially ruined my life and made me homeless. Do I get a bonus for that? He grinned again. Yes, a penthouse. Her jaw dropped. A what? Penthouse. With a view of the Han River. And a closet bigger than this club's storage room. She blinked at him like he'd lost his mind. You think you can just buy me? No, his eyes softened. I think I can take care of you. Something inside her cracked at those words. Nobody had ever said them to her. Nobody had ever meant them. But Zariah wasn't ready to surrender. Not yet. Listen, Jin-soo. She jabbed a finger into his tattooed chest. I don't need your penthouse. I don't need your money. And I don't need you. He caught her hand gently, holding it against his chest. His heartbeat was steady, but his eyes were raw. Maybe not. But I need you. Her breath caught. For once, she had no comeback. That night, she walked out of the club with no job, no plan, and no idea why her heart was racing. But one thing was clear. Jin-soo had just dragged her into his dark world, and part of her wasn't sure she wanted to escape. The first time Zariah stepped into Jin-soo's penthouse, she thought she'd walked into a movie set. The glass walls stretched from floor to ceiling, giving a perfect view of the Han River glowing under the city lights. Marble floors gleamed under her heels, and expensive art hung carelessly on the walls, as if the man had bought them just to fill empty space. The place screamed wealth, but it was cold, like a museum, not a home. Wow, she muttered, dropping her bag on the couch. So this is where the devil sleeps. Behind her, Jin-soo chuckled, tossing his car keys on the counter. Flattered you think of me as the devil. He wishes he dressed this good. She rolled her eyes. Your ego needs its own elevator. But her sarcasm faltered when her gaze landed on the coffee table. Empty whiskey bottles, crushed cigarette packs, and a little glass vial with white powder still clinging to the inside. Her heart sank. Oh, hell no, she whispered, picking it up. You're doing this? He stiffened. Put that down, sunshine. Her nostrils flared. Are you crazy? No wonder you're always moody and restless. You're frying your brain cells. Don't lecture me, he snapped, snatching the vial from her. You don't know what it takes to survive in my world. Maybe not, she shot back, planting her hands on her hips. But I know self-destruction when I see it. My uncle back in Trinidad lost his life to this. You think it makes you strong, but it only makes you a slave. Her words hung heavy between them. For a moment, his hard facade cracked. Just a little. But then he turned away, pouring himself a drink instead. Why do you care, Zariah? He asked quietly. She hesitated. Why did she? He was dangerous, ruthless, everything she should avoid. But seeing him like this, drowning himself in poisons, made her chest ache in ways she didn't understand. Because somebody has to, she whispered. That night, she refused to leave. Instead, she cooked. Yes, cooked. In his designer kitchen that looked like it had never been used. She tied her curls up, slipped into his oversized hoodie, and whipped up a pot of pulao rice and chicken with whatever ingredients she could find. When Jinsu walked in, he froze. What are you doing? She stirred the pot like she owned the place. Cooking. Obviously. Nobody cooks here. My chef brings food. Your chef brings trash. Look at this seasoning. Y'all Koreans don't even know about proper flavor. She tossed a pinch of pepper dramatically into the pot. He leaned against the counter, amused. You're insane. She pointed the spoon at him. And you're malnourished. Sit down. For the first time in years, Jinsu obeyed. They ate together at his massive dining table. He took one bite and stared at her. What the hell is this? Food, genius. Do you like it? He took another bite, then another, and another, until the feared Mafia boss was practically inhaling the food like a starving teenager. Zariah smirked. That's what I thought. You're welcome. For the first time he laughed. A real laugh, raw and unguarded. It startled both of them. But the sweetness didn't last. 2 nights later, Jinsu took her with him to a meeting. They drove in his black Maserati to an abandoned warehouse at the edge of Seoul. Stay close to me, he murmured, handing her a jacket to cover her glittery dress. Inside, men in dark suits sat around a long table, cigarettes burning, eyes sharp. The air was thick with tension. Zariah felt every pair of eyes linger on her. She gripped Jinsu's arm tighter. Who's the girl? One man sneered. Jinsu's gaze went icy. She's mine. Zariah's heart stumbled at those words. Not just the possessiveness, but the way he said it, like it was law. The meeting erupted into shouting, deals about shipments and territories, accusations of betrayal, and then gunshots. Before she could scream, Jinsu pulled her behind him, shielding her body. With his men returned fire, chaos filling the warehouse. Zariah trembled, her nails digging into his arm, but he never flinched. When the smoke cleared, enemies lay wounded, his men victorious. He turned to her, brushing a curl from her damp forehead. You see now, he murmured. This is my world. Dark, bloody, dangerous. She swallowed hard, staring into his fierce eyes. Then let me be your light. For a moment he couldn't breathe. Nobody had ever said that to him. Nobody had ever wanted to stand in the darkness with him. And right there, in that broken warehouse with smoke still curling in the air, Jinsu realized Zariah wasn't just another woman. She was the one thing he didn't know he was searching for. Back at the penthouse, he sat on the couch, shirt stained with blood and smoke, silent. Zariah knelt in front of him, gently wiping the cut on his cheek with a damp cloth. You don't have to carry this alone, you know, she said softly. His eyes locked on hers. And who else would carry it with me? Me, she whispered. If you'll let me. He stared at her, heart pounding, walls crumbling. For the first time, Jinsu wasn't the ruthless Mafia prince. He was just a broken man with too many scars. And for the first time, he believed maybe, just maybe, someone could love him anyway. The storm came without warning. Zariah had just finished folding Jinsu's shirts. Oversized, expensive, smelling faintly of smoke and cologne, when she heard him shouting in the living room. His voice, usually calm and controlled, now cracked with rage. You set me up? Her heart lurched. She hurried out and found Jin-soo gripping his cousin by the collar, shoving him against the wall. Two of his men stood frozen, unsure whether to intervene. The cousin, sweat dripping down his temples, stammered, "It wasn't me, Hyung. Lies." Jin-soo's voice boomed. "You leaked the shipment route. You let the ambush happen. Men died because of you." Zariah's stomach clenched. She remembered that night. The gunfire, the chaos, the way he'd shielded her with his own body. And now betrayal had a face. Family. Jin-soo spat bitterly, releasing him. "Always after my money. Always dragging me to the grave." His cousin scrambled away as Jin-soo collapsed onto the couch, burying his face in his hands. For once, the ruthless Mafia prince looked small, defeated, human. Zariah walked over quietly, sitting beside him. She didn't speak. She simply reached out, her fingers brushing his knuckles. He exhaled shakily. "Why are you still here, sunshine? You've seen my world. You've seen the blood, the betrayal. I should have scared you away by now." Her Caribbean accent curled softly through her words. "Maybe I like being scared a little bit." He peeked at her, startled. She smirked faintly. "Keeps my heart beating." He laughed. A broken, beautiful sound. But before he could reply, the windows shattered. Gunfire. The penthouse erupted in chaos. Glass sprayed like rain, bullets tearing through the walls. Jin-soo tackled Zariah to the floor, covering her with his body. His men dove for cover, returning fire. "Stay down," he barked, voice fierce. But Zariah's eyes caught something. A red laser dot crawling across Jin-soo's chest. Her pulse spiked. "No!" she screamed, shoving him. Hard just as the shot rang out. The bullet grazed her arm instead. Pain seared through her, hot and sharp, but she bit it back. Jin-soo's eyes went wild when he saw the blood blooming across her sleeve. "Zariah!" His voice cracked. He dragged her behind the couch, fury blazing. His men finished the attackers off, silence falling except for the ringing in her ears. Jin-soo's hands trembled as he pressed a cloth to her wound. "Why would you do that? Why would you take a bullet for me?" She winced, but her eyes locked on his. "Because you're worth saving, Jin-soo, even if you don't believe it." His breath caught. He stared at her like she was something unreal, something holy. "I've killed men. I've ruined lives. I don't deserve." "Shut up." She grabbed his collar with her good hand, pulling him closer. "You deserve love, and I'm giving it to you, whether you like it or not." For a moment he couldn't breathe. His entire life, the drugs, the violence, the betrayals, it all crashed against the one thing he never thought he'd have. Someone who wanted him. Not his power, not his money, just him. And then he kissed her. It wasn't gentle. It was desperate, fierce, a storm colliding with fire. She kissed him back, pouring every ounce of her pain and her promise into him. When they broke apart, breathless, he whispered against her lips, "I love you, sunshine. For the first time in my life, I actually love." Tears stung her eyes. "Took you long enough, Mafia boy." He laughed, choked and messy, pressing his forehead to hers. "You're insane. And you're mine," she whispered. Weeks later, the city still whispered about the ambush, about how Jin-soo wiped out his enemies in one brutal night. But the man himself was different. He was sober. The vials of white powder were gone, trashed by his own hand. The whiskey bottles gathered dust. His men were shocked. Their boss, once addicted to the chaos, now spent nights sitting at the table eating Zariah's cooking, or laughing at her ridiculous jokes about Trinidad Carnival. "Imagine you in feathers and glitter," she teased one night, wiggling her hips. He smirked. "Imagine you not wearing my hoodies all the time. Sunshine, that's my favorite one. Relax. I look better in it than you do." Their banter filled the penthouse with a warmth money could never buy. And for the first time in his life, Jin-soo wasn't just surviving. He was living, because in a world of blood and betrayal, Zariah had given him the one thing he thought he could never have, healing. And she had found the one thing she thought she could never have, love.
Hello besties, in this story we learned that even the darkest hearts can find healing when they are truly loved. Thank you so much for watching. Kindly like, subscribe and share.